Everybody please rise for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can you bow your heads for just a moment, please? Dear Lord, we ask your blessing on the crowd we have here today. Please help us make wise decisions in the best interest of the citizens of our county, our state, and our country. Please bless all of our leaders. Help them make decisions for the people in the best interest of their hearts and what is pure and what's proper. We ask that you watch over each of us to stay and guide us with a good heart and a good mind and a good spirit as we make our way through the work week. We ask this in God's name, amen. Good morning, everybody. The next public workshop will be Tuesday, March 26th at 10:30 a.m. And the next regular meeting will be Wednesday, March 27th, also at 10:30 a.m. in this room. And there is a TID meeting today at 2 o'clock in this room. Madam Clerk.
Mr. Cantala Mesa.
Here.
Ms. Frenchco.
Here.
Mr. Malloy.
Here.
Item number 1 is to dispense with reading the minutes of the workshop session dated March 12th, 2024, and the regular meeting dated March 13th, 2024, and accept and approve the video recordings of both meetings as the official meeting minutes.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
No, they're not done properly.
Item number 2 is to approve the bills.
Motion to approve. Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa.
Excuse me. Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 3 is to transfer monies.
Motion to transfer the monies as listed?
Second that.
Mr. Cantala Mesa.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 4 is to approve additional appropriations.
Motion to approve?
Second the motion.
Mr. Cantala Mesa.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 5 is to approve to decrease appropriations.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 6 is to transfer appropriations.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Because many of these items didn't come with an actual explanation and some were completely blank, no.
Item number 7 is to request the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners to approve the enterprise zone agreement with Dawn Incorporated. The company is requesting tax incentives of 75% for 10 years for renovating existing warehouse space at 2861 Sphera Avenue to be an office facility and purchase warehouse at 2961 Sphera Avenue to renovate and install a new parking lot to connect the two facilities located at parcel numbers 39-569-320 and 40-221193.
So move forward?
Forward? Is it a motion to approve? That
Motion to move forward. Yes.
it would be a motion to approve, or,
Whichever you'd like.
I mean, you guys are in for, not doing things in your meeting properly. I would say it's a approve or to disapprove.
Move forward, you can mean move forward to a vote and not state the intent of approve or disapprove in Robert's Rules of Orders.
Okay.
I'll get the guidebook for you when we get a break here. Is there a second?
No, not for me.
I'll second it.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Oh, this should have discussion.
Well, you have to call for discussion.
Okay, so this item was done improperly. It was done improperly the first time, and then they went back and instead of doing it correctly, they went to the community to remove it and to put it back on without going back through the original steps, which are proper. It was a tax abatement request for an enterprise zone agreement for 75%, as everyone sees, but it was done incorrectly. The city of Warren made a motion to repeal what they did and then replace it. And whenever something dies such as this, it should trigger the process to start all over from scratch. And it didn't. They just went ahead and tried to fix it to push it through. And I take exception with that as well. We've had a lot of dissent from the school board who is disagreeing with that, and the president of the school board sent individual emails to us as well. There were some incorrect, there was incorrect information on that journal action from the city of Warren that related to how they were going to be moving forward with the project. Incorrect language that was incongruent with what was actually going to happen. So I just wanted to put that out there.
I too have mixed feelings on this, and the reasoning that I have is the last enterprise zone agreement we did was with Millwood Corporation, and they were adding 48 jobs, and they only asked for 60%. They did a 10-year 60%. And they said their reasoning was they wanted to be good neighbors with their school, with their community, and they felt that that was in the best interest of fairness under the law. I've done some research in other ones, and I do see this board has pretty much approved every enterprise zone agreement that's come through over the last 5 years or so. They did kind of distribute the power to the municipalities to make the decision, which was not an action of this board, but it is.
I'm sorry, that is an action that when I got here as a commissioner, I was not happy with the process and I wanted it to be journal or done proper in a different way. So it happened with one member of this board.
Oh, it started in
But
1994,
it
according
is
to the
a board
paperwork.
record. There's one member of the board who agrees with this process and I
The
don't.
process is that just so everybody's clear about the process is that it's negotiated by the local entities, not by the commissioners, which there's nothing wrong with.
In the local entity, and that, so that I had to look at that too. When I look at this, I don't believe this is a fair use of the law as it's intended. But then again, I don't want to penalize somebody for playing by the rules that this board has set in the past. I do know we need to come up with a rubric for the future. We need to work with our business community. We need to work with our decision makers to come up with a standard that's fair for everybody moving forward. And that's where I'm a little stuck here is, do we set the precedent today with what I believe, or and penalize somebody for playing by the rules as they are set? But then I have the microphone. The other thing is, when we were here last time, I did ask, can it be modified now? Can it be lowered? Can it be 5-year 50? Can it be something different? Can there be any wiggle room? And we found out the answer was yes. But when it went back to Warren, it was not modified in any way, which kind of upset me a little bit because I kind of guided along like, hey, I'm not okay with this, but I would be okay if you lowered it a little bit. So that's where the toss up is with me is I don't want to penalize someone for playing by past practice, but we need to set a precedent moving forward. I didn't vote on the other ones in the past. I did vote on the last two, and it was in a hotel in Liberty with a lot of jobs, and it was
That was
48 jobs in Millwood
different story.
that only asked for 60%. And so that's where I'm mixed up on this thing. Where do we start moving into the future with something of a better guideline for business, so they know we're open for business, but it's fair rules and it's community oriented in a sense that we don't have strife between. They don't have to ask the school board for this. It's under 75% school board's opinion. really by Ohio Revised Code, we don't have to get approval of the school board. All the school boards could be against it and it could still pass. Anything over 75, they would. So we're right at that line there a little bit where we are right bulging at the seams of, is this really fair or is this really stretching it? So that's where my thoughts are.
There are 4 jobs being created. The revenue from the company is tremendous, but it appears that the actual salary for the individuals is much less than what the revenue is. You know, when asked to the company, what is the highest salary? You know, or asking about the salaries, that doesn't include what the business is making. And to have that type of business and only make 4 jobs, and give them a 75% abatement, I think that our laws should be changed at some level. And I want to say that our planning commission, this board, not myself, our board decided to give economic development to the planning commission. And so the board doesn't even participate in that. And I believe that we should. Because if they were dealing with the board in some respect, even in a public meeting, I think that would be more transparent than allowing one person from the planning commission to do the brokering of these sorts of deals where it adversely affects our schools and our tax base. That's my opinion.
But we are members of the planning commission as a board, so we do sit on the planning commission, just for
We
clarity.
are not the person who does that. There's one person who deals with that. And
Like,
and
we're the
for
board
clarity,
that dictates to that person whether or not he does deal with it.
that's not quite how it works, but
That's exactly how it works, actually. We're
works
members
under
on
the-
that
she
board,
work- They work under the planning director, and we all know that that's true.
and who
But
does the planning director work
You
under?
know what, Mauro? Okay, you want to vote yes for
I'm just
an
telling
abatement,
you.
for an abatement
Let's be
if
completely
you want
transparent
to
and
vote,
clear.
if you want to vote yes on an abatement for 4 jobs, then go ahead and do it. I'm just saying that I think that this was wrong. We all said, or at least the 2 of us said, that we weren't happy with that percentage. And nothing changed. And the process was incorrect in Warren. They didn't start from scratch. They just went ahead and pulled it and replaced it. Do we even have a legal opinion that says that it's okay to just pull it and replace it? I don't believe that the process has gone through correctly at this point, because this is the first time, to my knowledge, since I've been a commissioner, where if there is an error, they didn't start from scratch. They went back and went, oops, we're going to pull this out and put it in this way. That is an error that, in my eyes, should be a fatal error and should trigger them to start from
Yeah, but I'm not an
scratch.
attorney. You're not an attorney on that. So
Legal opinion. So would you like to,
did you ask for one?
I am not, you know what? You know that we're not allowed to request legal opinions individually. And there was a concern for this last time. So
Did you ask the board to give you consensus to get a legal opinion regarding this?
no, Denny, did you?
You're the one that's asking for it.
Because I don't think,
You're the one
I
that's
don't
bringing
need,
it
I
publicly.
don't need an attorney to be able to look at this and see that it didn't follow the process correctly. I think it's black and white, but you guys might not see it that way. So that's why I would say maybe look into it, because
First of all, the process ends with us, so it doesn't matter if it was followed right. You have the vote to vote yes or no on it.
right.
So it doesn't
And
really
that's
matter.
why and that's one of the reasons why I'm voting no today.
But the process of how Warren City did it has nothing to do with this board.
We do have to make sure that if we're stamping something, that we
You
make
have
sure
the vote to vote yes or no.
that it was done correctly. So, I mean, there's rubber stamps, and then there's just,
No, there's yes or no votes. That's what it
Right.
is. If you don't agree, vote no.
okay, call the question.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
No.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
I'm going to abstain because I don't have enough information.
So the motion does not pass.
Item number 8 is to concur with the Trumbull County Engineer to grant the special hauling permit to haul steel coils by the company listed. And that company is J-Row Transportation Services, Inc.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 9 is to concur with the county engineer to grant the quarterly operator fleet permit requested by the company listed. That's Dan Slusher Trucking, Inc.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 10 is to concur with the county engineer to grant the right-of-way permits requested by the companies listed. And those companies are Biohabits, Windstream Western Reserve LLC, and CNS Networks.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 11 is to concur with the county engineer to grant the special annual supplier fleet permits requested by the company listed. And that's Gibbs Construction, Inc. and Clay Trucking, Inc.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 12 is to adopt a resolution authorizing expenditure for responding to or mitigating the public health emergency from American Rescue Plan Act funds, ARPA, Baker School Sheridan Drive upgrades.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 13 is to adopt a resolution authorizing expenditure for responding to or mitigating the public health emergency from American Rescue Plan Act funds, City of Girard ambulance.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item 14 is to enter into an agreement between the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners and the City of Girard as approved by ARPA legal counsel for the city to provide funds required to enable the city to purchase a new ambulance for use by the City of Girard Fire Department, which is essential to continue the provision of safety services, especially with the increase of volume of calls due to the many private ambulance services which previously served the area, either having a reduced workforce or otherwise closing. And the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners allocates the sum of $225,842 to the city.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 15 is to adopt a resolution authorizing expenditure for responding to or mitigating the public health emergency from American Rescue Plan Act funds, Champion Township ambulance.
Motion to approve?
Second the motion.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 16 is to enter into an agreement between the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners and Champion Township as approved by ARPA legal counsel for the township to provide funds required to enable the township to purchase a new ambulance and other necessary equipment for use by the Champion Township Fire Department, which is essential to continue the provision of safety services, especially with the increase of volume of calls since the COVID-19 pandemic. And the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners allocates the sum of $153,300 to the township.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 17 is to adopt a resolution authorizing expenditure for responding to or mitigating the Public Health Emergency from American Rescue Plan Act funds, Bezetta Township Ambulance.
Make a motion to approve?
Second the motion?
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item 18 is to enter into an agreement between the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners and Bezetta Township as approved by ARPA Legal Counsel for the township to provide funds required to enable the township to purchase a new ambulance and other necessary equipment for use by the Bezetta Township Fire Department, which is essential to continue the provision of safety services, especially with the increase of the volume of calls since the COVID-19 pandemic. And the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners allocates a sum of $200,000 to the township.
A motion to approve?
Second?
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 19 is to adopt a resolution authorizing expenditure for responding to or mitigating the public health emergency from American Rescue Plan Act funds, Braceville Township Ambulance.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 20 is to enter into an agreement between the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners and Braceville Township as approved by ARPA Legal Counsel for the township to provide funds required to enable the township to purchase a new ambulance and other necessary equipment for use by the Braceville Township Fire Department, which is essential to continue the provision of safety services, especially with the increase of the volume of calls since the COVID-19 pandemic. And the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners allocates the sum of $175,000 to the township.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
I might interject here for a second. I want to applaud our commissioners here. We just bought 4 ambulances for the townships in Trumbull County. That's right. And the city of Girard. And thank you trustees and chiefs for being here. It's a proud moment for me as a commissioner to be able to do this and to join unanimously with my colleagues up here to spread the ARPA funds, where I think is a great cause here. All you guys did through COVID, all you do every day to save lives, well deserved, and I'm proud to be able to do this.
Ask for anything. This was their only ARPA request, and I was really happy whenever they said, I was at a township meeting and, well, does this apply to us if we didn't get a project? Can we put?
I didn't ask for anything either, and neither did Gerard, so those are their 3 requests.
But they did get things to benefit their community. Braceville didn't. So.
Number 21.
Item number 21 is to authorize Danny Malloy, President of the Board of Commissioners, to execute on behalf of Trumbull County the sub-grant award agreement for the Trumbull County Sheriff's Office, sub-grant number 2024-BW-LEC 3226, obtained through the Ohio Office of Criminal Justice Services. The grant award is for the period of July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024, and the award date was 3/12/2024. Total funding is in the amount of $68,158.20 with no cash match required to purchase body-worn cameras for the Trumbull County Sheriff's Office.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 22 is to approve modification number 2 to the engineering agreement with CTI Engineers, Inc. for the Bezetta and Mecca wastewater treatment plant nutrient reduction project, county project number 8-2-20. Modification is for an additional $29,488.73, revising the total contract amount to $436,593.43. Modification number 2 is necessary to provide additional design services to the county's request.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Okay. Make sure I have the. For agenda item 23, I will make a motion to go into executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 121.22 G4, preparing for, conducting, or reviewing negotiations, and the collective bargaining strategy for the Trumbull County Child Support Enforcement Agency. That's my motion.
Second that.
Mr. Cantala Mesa.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
We'll be back shortly.
You don't want to do it. Okay, make a motion to reconvene from executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 121.22 G4, just preparing for conducting or reviewing negotiations and the collective bargaining strategy for the Trumbull County Child Support Enforcement Agency. That's my motion. Motion to reconvene, everyone.
Second,
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Okay.
25,
Item number 25 is to accept or reject the fact-finding report findings and recommendations issued by Howard D. Silver Esquire, fact finder on March 13th, 2024, including all tentative agreements incorporated therein by reference pertaining to the collective bargaining unit agreement between the Trumbull County Child Support Enforcement Agency and AFSCME Local 3808.
Motion to accept the fact finders report.
I'll second that.
I just would like for discussion to say that it doesn't appear that the fact finder considered or that our staff or council drew comparisons from communities that also give 1 hour paid lunches. So if you want to see the true hourly rate, you would take their hourly rate, multiply it by 8 and divide it by 7. That would be what the true hourly rate is. And so the communities that were compared to us, Ashtabula, Columbiana, Lake, Mahoning, Portage, and Stark, don't give their employees paid 1 hour breaks. And we were the lowest, granted, we were the lowest, and I believe that's probably the reason why, is because our employees in Trumbull County enjoy that, which other communities typically do not. The other concern I have is that once 10% raises are given over the course of 2 years, that management will get the same raises, because that's what I've seen since I've got here. That's what I disagree with, but that's how the county does their business. Additionally, I just don't see it as something that, I mean, I appreciate that some of the employees are paid at a lower level and need to be higher, but now we've got these employees in line with our sheriff's departments. So, hey, wanted to point that out. That's all. I don't want to discuss anymore.
Okay, and my discussion then is today is a new day in Trumbull County. We're going to respect our employees. We are going to respect our salaried and union employees. We're going to treat them fairly. We're going to compensate them fairly. We're going to let them know that we appreciate them taking pride in our community. We're going to work as a Board of Commissioners with our employees on the same team to move forward to make sure Trumbull County is the best county that we can be. And we want people that are jealous of the way we do business here. And we have employees that want to come work here compared to other areas. So today's a new day, starting with this contract here and this fact-finding report. The CSEA employees, we appreciate what they do. I believe this fact-finding report is fair and compensating them fairly with other counties that are out there. And I look forward to working with all employees in the county and future contracts, that if we have the money in there to do it, we are going to work together with them to make sure they're fairly compensated.
Commissioners, Alexander DiVincenzi Bush, Human Resources Director. I would like to clarify all of the false statements that Commissioner Frenchco just made. It is not 10% over 2 years. I will correct you on the record. It's 10% over 3 years, which equals 3.33% per year, which is in line with the state CERB average that is 3.24% per year. Secondly, commissioners, the sheriff's department, she said just now that we just brought CSA up to them. Let's clarify that record. The CIA that at the jail, corrections officers come in making $22 an hour per the new contract. Our highest paid employee at CSEA will now is currently making $24 an hour. But you're not even, this is not comparable. This is not apples to apples. And to be quite frank with you, it's just false. Commissioners, anything else from the HR department? Thank you. And also, why not talk about the good things? We talk about the bad things a lot. Why are you not bringing up the good things that came out of this contract negotiation?
That are going to save us in the long run. Like
You
the
are
healthcare,
absolutely correct, Commissioner.
the increase to the healthcare. I mean, we have to be competitive. And for those of you that don't understand in negotiations, you have to give to get too. It's not like we're just going to take something and they're not going to ask for something else or not be granted something else. So Commissioner, if you want to negotiate those things out, how much are you willing to give up front? Those are things, those are legacy costs that have been built in. And if you look at those, numbers, can I have that, please? It's a public document.
Well, I do need those
If we-
back. Those are mine.
Those
And
are
I will make
exactly-
copies for you, but
If
they
you
are
look at
mine.
those, and I urge everybody to come up and look at them when it's over, Trumbull County is at the low end of this. So, thank you.
I appreciate the commissioners.
Yeah, so now Trumbull County will be the highest paid employees.
That's not reflective of their latest
Look, this is-
negotiations.
it actually-
Again, it's smoke and mirrors and you're
Wait.
speaking falsely, just
Mi-
completely false.
Can I, because I was,
Melissa-
is it my
Miss
2 minutes? I'm just
Melissa
curious.
Fisco just said that this was the
Chairman.
current information and that it compared Stark, Mahoning, Trumbull, Ashtabula, Columbiana, Lake, and Portage.
Is
What
Yes,
are the numbers?
yes, we are at the lowest, but after this.
We are at the lowest. You just said that.
You just said that.
Yes, and after this, we will be the highest. and
Until they do their.
Until they have their
negotiations.
negotiations.
we're the only community that gives a 1 hour paid break.
You don't know that. Do you know that?
Okay.
Can you justifiably, quantifiably give us a list that shows that these counties don't offer that benefit? Can you?
No.
Thank you. Commissioners, I really
Mine
do.
gets an hour paid break.
The whole
Is that what
county
you're
does.
saying?
The whole
Okay.
county does. That is correct. That is correct. And you know what? If that means that helps us retain employees and they get a proper rest break and that they're productive during their day, so be it. Thank you, commissioners.
So I'll call the roll for item number 25. Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Because they didn't consider the hourly workday, I think that the fact-finding report is incorrect because they're comparing us to communities that don't all receive that. And I also just want to reiterate that once these raises are given, it is customary in Trumbull County that management gets those same raises. And so when they negotiate for their unions, something that they end up receiving, it is a conflict of interest, but it is customary and past practice in Trumbull County for management to get everything that the unions get. And I disagree with that. So
That's also customary in every county that we compare to. That's also customary in every county we compare to. Do your research.
we should be looking to rein that in. So,
Ms. Frenchco, your vote?
yeah, it was no.
All right, that concludes the regular business for today, from our agenda. Do we have any new business from my colleagues? Anything for the good of the order of Trumbull County?
Just
Mr. Taylor?
really quickly, I'm sorry, Commissioner, was contacted by the Highway Engineers Department yesterday about a meeting with our attorney that we jointly retained for the Warren Township dam removal. And they are currently meeting, Tom Wilson is currently meeting with Engineer Smith, but I urge the board, in order for full transparency, I said, I don't want to meet with them just yet. We'll do it in front of the entire board. So hopefully at a regularly scheduled meeting, he can come and brief us on the legalities of what we can and can't do when it comes to the dam. So just giving everybody a heads up.
It would be nice if we can get them here next Tuesday or Wednesday before the
Absolutely.
board meets, so we can get some answers beforehand.
Absolutely.
So we'll extend that invite to him to see if we can schedule that.
Martha Yoder, Trumbull County Auditor. I just have a couple of things for the commissioners to give them some points of information and also ask a question. The first one that I have is with regard to the work that's going to be done at the Trumbull County Veterans Services. We asked, the question was raised about where the money would come from, and I had mentioned that there was still money left from the original construction, and I actually thought it was less than it was. There's a little over 18,000 left in that fund. And so what would be needed is it's actually $18,270. If the costs remain 50,120, it'll be just shy of 32,000 that we need. And in talking to Christy, we felt that that could come from the sales tax, that we could use that for that. I wanted to let you know that
Thank you.
as we move forward on it. In corresponding with Attorney Rogers over the ARPA, she sent through an approval for the McDonald request. But there's some questions that I need resolved from the commissioners before I can get that put on the agenda. The original request that McDonald made was for $45,696. Attorney Rogers reached out to them and found that their needs had changed during that time or in the interim, and they requested more. She actually, and she had them itemize that and do that as an additional request. And so the total request is now $100,465. That is what Attorney Rogers prepared the resolution for, and also and the agreement. And I need to know what your pleasure is on that. If you want to go back to the 45,696, or if you want to do the 100,465. I meant to check, but I don't believe that McDonald had any other request other than this.
I have no problem increasing it.
I have
That's
no-
McDonald's only request.
Yeah, I have no problem either. I don't have it in front of me, but I'm going on the numbers you're
Right.
giving me. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right. I will adjust our sheets and I will have that on the agenda for next week. Also, I gave to the clerk a press release from Treasurer Sprague, and I wanted to call your attention to that because it does, it is about our county. It's about our use of the OMAP program to get that S&P rating for our recent note. We saved, because of using that program, $54,355.12 in interest, and that's according to the treasurer's calculations. I wanted to point this out because a little over a month ago, we had on the agenda our contract with MAS Financial Services, Matt Stasinski, and there was some complaints about that and about just re-entering into that contract kind of automatically every year. I wanted to point out that, yes, it's good to review contracts. It's good, but you don't need to do an first of all, legally, we didn't need to, and you don't need to. And sometimes it's not in the best interest of the county to do an RFP for every single contract every single year. And this is, I think, a good example of that. It was Matt Stasinski understanding our county and our position and our history and where we were at that caused him to recommend the OMAP program to us. So he first brought this to us. In addition to that, he worked with, again, this is a newer program. It wasn't something Christy was familiar with, our senior accountant. He worked with Christy and walked her through the process, helped us with a very long and complicated application. And I do want to thank Christy. She put a lot of work on this to save the county this $54,000. But the contract with Matt also helped with that savings. And I think it's really important that we not throw out the baby with the bathwater. When we want to look at things, it's perfectly legitimate to want to review things. I get that. But I also felt very comfortable because I'd already built a relationship with Matt in the time since I was off, came to office a year ago. He reached out to me, he worked with me, he worked with my staff, and I felt very comfortable with him and with his knowledge of our county. So I just wanted to reiterate that that was an important thing that you guys did, and it will help us in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners, Jim Taylor with the Western Reserve Building Trades. I'm a little upset with the voting of the tax abatement. The trades support Warren City Schools in their opposition and will be in the future in absolute opposition of this tax abatement or any other tax abatement that only creates a few jobs. I want to thank Commissioner Cantal Mesa for doing his research. We did have the letter from the school, which is the biggest affected school out there, 12.1 mil renewal levy. And unfortunately, the cities, these entities, they're worried about their income tax, right? Not the property tax. So obviously, if they can get more income tax in there, it's not hurting them in the property tax, but it is hurting schools. I hope the commissioners look at all parties affected and mainly in them schools. I do want to pass out
Thank you. Is this you?
I hope the commissioners would be more involved with the local municipalities moving forward. This was a paper that was handed out at Warren City Council Caucus. Greg Greathouse put this together. The numbers on here are not accurate with what was presented by Nick Coggins with the Planning Commission. He has in year 2024, $5,000 tax that we're not going to go to the schools. 25, 5,000, 26, 5,000. And then after that, 27 through 33, $100, saying there was only a shortfall of $15,700. This was incorrect. I don't know if it's the maybe it's the inaccurate numbers here that Greg Greathouse came up with. James Schaefer ended up going over the numbers as well. I would like them to get with the Planning Commission and get the correct numbers. Also, Mike Keys talked about things in the past about a zero was added or this or that. That wasn't the case. It was actually a paper that was from a past document in legislation. So as things get messed up in the council level, I expect the commissioners that would be looking over them things and making sure that the numbers are correct.
It did seem like it was missing information, like sincerely. Like not I got a file and there was not everything in there. From what I could tell, it looks sketchy.
This is my information.
You have more than what I have that I was given from my staff and the Planning Commission. And so that, I think that you're right, that the Board of Commissioners does need to have more information. And I think that somewhere along the line, we're not getting everything. It looks funny. This one in particular did, but I don't think we were getting enough. And even the process, if there needed to be a legal opinion, it seems kind of odd. Maybe I'm wrong for not asking, but I know I'm not allowed to ask for a legal opinion by myself. They won't give it to me. So.
Well, I don't know if it was in the incompetence or the ignorance of the city council members that did this,
Or
but
the law director over
but
there.
this number's written down on a piece of paper. Please go to the tax department, get your records, get them straight.
And Mike, maybe you can answer this for me, Jimmy. The process that they did by just, instead of starting it from scratch, did the prosecutor, or I'm sorry, did Enzo Cantala Mesa approve that process, or do they just go ahead and the council swaps things out and does what they want? Like, I don't get it.
I don't know that
You're
process
fine.
and I don't know
Okay.
that information.
I just don't know if it was approved even over there. So thank you.
Hello, Commissioners. My name is Kristen Carlin. I'm with Tri-County Tower. I'm here on behalf of a bid that was submitted for the Trumbull County Communications Tower. That was in the beginning of March when the bids were due. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this project or not. But I have some documentation if I can bring it forward for you to look at. I would have printed more, but it's my personal thing at meetings. Don't mind the chicken scratch. These are the numbers, and then behind it is the shelter that I'm going to speak about. When doing this bid, it was due on a Friday by 4 o'clock, I believe it was. That morning at 9 a.m., Verdantis, which was the engineer that was assigned to this project, submitted an addendum to remove the shelter. I submitted my bid at 10 a.m. Without the addendum, without receiving the addendum, I acknowledged it, but I was applying it to another addendum that was submitted to this bid. So if you do your numbers, we should have actually been awarded that job. We would be saving you, the county, almost $40,000. Because like I said, I didn't remove the shelter from our original bid. You can see the shelter cost is $195,700. Transport would have been $10,750. So doing the math, we actually should have won that bid. And I wanted to bring it to your attention because I'm sure as commissioners, you want to save your county and the tax dollars as best as you can. Verdantis did not do their due diligence in when they submitted their suggestion to you guys that Spielman should be the contractor that was awarded this project. I'm not asking for any special favors, but like I said, if you look at the documentation, our company would have been $40,000 less. We're not asking to revise our bid, our numbers. We're just asking for the opportunity to remove the shelter to save the county that $40,000 of tax money that you guys are spending to erect this. This project is a $750,000 project that the county and the engineers put out. And like I said, it's clear right there that the numbers, we're only asking to remove the shelter. On our bid, it wasn't removed.
My question then is, did the, I don't see this. Is it possible for us to get, can our clerk or someone back there get a copy of the book where the bids came in for this? Cause I'd like to see that. You're
Yeah.
saying, cause I want to see, I'd like to see everything.
Yeah,
So
it was submitted on
your-
Bid Express.
So yours came in on time.
Mhm.
Theirs came in on time and they revised it after it was submitted?
No, so an addendum was submitted at 9 a.m. before the bids were due at 5 p.m. I submitted mine at 10, but on my bid submission, we included the cost of the shelter. So if you look at the numbers on the sheet, it says what we came in at. It was like $734,554.
Yes.
That was without the shelter removal. And in fact, Amanda Verdantis, the project coordinator, Amanda Spencer with Verdantis, the project coordinator for this, called me that Monday and asked, did I remove the shelter? And I said no. So she knowingly submitted a suggestion for another company to do this job, knowing that we would have been $40,000 less than if we had the opportunity. Verdantis, the engineer that was assigned to this,
That
the
would- that would
drawings.
be pre-award contact or before the contract is awarded, if something like that happens, it's considered pre-award contact and it's a bidding irregularity and it's considered unlawful. So
Yeah,
that's what happened. I don't really know the specifics of this, but it's sounding like something might have happened. That was the bid already awarded?
It was awarded after, so once the bid closed at 5 p.m., then they reviewed all the bids. It was only 3 companies who submitted. One was non-responsive, which was Heights Tower. So it was between Spillman and my company, Tri-County Tower. We came in higher, like a lot higher, 200 and whatever, the cost of the shelter and the cost of the transport.
But they took that out. So why?
But
was-
we didn't
my
remove
question-
it.
My question though, then would be,
So-
was there an alternate bid? Because sometimes there's an alternate bid with or without something.
There was not an alternate, and she did confirm with me, like I said, that Monday that I did not receive that addendum, and so our numbers included the cost of the shelter.
So essentially, you're saying it wasn't an apples for apples
No, it
process.
was not, and we
So
would
what
have
we'd have to
won.
do in that case is probably rebid it for for full transparency and for fairness across the board. I haven't looked at this, but if that's the case,
Mhm.
we would have to rebid.
Normally, something that is an add-on or a little different would be a separate category for like an alternate. So you would have your base bid
Mhm.
and then you'd say, including the shelter, this is an alternate. And
Yeah.
that's why I'm asking why.
I don't
that
think it
wasn't
was
bid
an,
out
I
that
don't
way.
think it was an alternate. We didn't submit it as an alternate. We submitted it
half the
as
project.
included.
That's half the
Yeah.
project is the shelter.
Exactly. So like I said, we
So
would have
I-
came in $40,000 less. We're not asking to redo our labor costs. We're simply asking for you guys to allow us to either rebid it or remove the
Who
shelter.
recommended for us to approve that and looked at all of these when they came in?
Verdantis,
Our engineering.
Under which project is this specifically under?
Trumbull County Communication, Trumbull Ridge Communications Tower.
And who was reviewing those bids?
Amanda Spencer with Verdantis.
This is a joint
But-
project.
Oh, it was through the OFCC
This is a joint project with us in the state.
and Marks.
Yes,
Mhm.
Marks Tower.
Yes, but.
And
I just
we
wonder,
actually have the
was it
Marks contract.
Was it Jim Masaki who was, I'm asking like, who at our county looked at this information and just, and pass it to us?
I
That's
don't
what I'm
know.
looking for.
Yeah.
We hired the
Sure.
engineering firm to do that, which was Verdantis.
So I felt it was appropriate to bring it to your attention.
We need all the relative information to go to our prosecutor's office with to see if this requires a rebid, basically.
Okay, so is there anything on my end that you need me to do?
Already been, have we awarded this?
It was awarded to Spillman, but it shouldn't have been awarded.
And when did this happen and why?
I don't remember the date. I believe it was March. I'd have to look when these were due. It was the beginning of March when it was due. First week of March is when it was awarded. Yeah. I don't have the dates on me, but
Don't know why it wasn't brought to our
Also,
attention before.
this is an ARPA project, correct, Martha? So this is an ARPA project, so it wouldn't be through our prosecutor's office, it would be through our Tanya Rogers, our ARPA attorney. So we need all relative information that you have regarding to this to send over to
What
her.
you just said needs
If
to
in
be-
case that's the case, if
Yeah,
that's the
what
case.
you just said, I would ask that you put in writing. Where
okay,
You believe there were missteps and get it to, my opinion, as would be get it in writing, exactly what happened. This is the date, this is what happened, this is what was removed, this, and then get it to us right away because we're gonna have to get that looked at.
Okay.
immediately. Did we give a notice to proceed?
We would have to talk to the engineer about that.
I don't believe there's been a notice to proceed yet. Usually takes 90 days. So who would I send this to?
The Board of County Commissioners.
Us?
Okay,
You send it to the commissioners, that will include me, commissioners@co.trumbull.oh.us. And then I'll make sure that it's forwarded to Tanya as a priority. Because if this was something that we could be doing to save money because someone changed something. Was this a design? This is concerning me, this happened. Thank you. I
Yeah.
really appreciate. you
yeah,
bringing that into our
who do I send the email address again? I'm sorry.
commissioners@co.trumbull.oh.us.
Okay. All right, we'll get working on this
Yeah.
and send it over to you guys today.
Oh, thank you.
Yep, yep, no problem. Thank
Can
you.
you put this back or can we have a copy of it?
No, you can have it. You can have it.
We basically just want to make sure that the engineer is acting in the best favor of the county, you know what I mean? So
Wait, your name, please.
This company
my name's
is
Jake
good.
Easy, Tri-County Tower, we're together, but we just want to make sure that the engineer is acting in the best thought for the county, because if they could have said, hey, we submitted this bid, let's put it out for rebid because you submitted with the shelter that we put an addendum out, at 9 a.m. when the bid was due at 10 a.m. on a Friday. Or if they would have, gave us a call, say, hey, we put an addendum out, we removed the shelter off the bid, there was only 3 people bidding this whole project. So how tough is that? And you know what I
What's
mean?
The
So,
addendum, I'm sorry,
yeah, Verdantis,
they added an addendum after they put it out.
At 9 a.m. before, the bid was due at like 5 that day.
so the original
It can't be
scope.
That's not okay.
Wait,
yeah.
hear him out, hear him out. what
Yeah,
he
so
said.
the original scope was basically to supply the shelter. We're gonna supply it, we're gonna deliver it, we're gonna buy it. But then they decided that the county was gonna buy it instead, so they put the they put the addendum out there to remove the shelter, so we didn't have to purchase it. And that's why we could have just removed the price of the shelter, the price of the delivery off our bid, not adjust anything
Right.
else, and we would have come 40.
Again, not an
But
apples for
that
apples
was the,
bid. That's,
they changed the original scope that was bid out hours before the bids were due. That's not okay.
if indeed that is the case.
If that's what, yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
Okay,
Thank
that's
you,
it.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much
And
for
they
bringing it.
contacted someone to tell you to change your bid.
No, they never.
They did not contact you.
Until after the work was given. That they called.
Asked if we received the addendum, I said no. She said she received the addendum to remove the shelter. I said, no, I did not. And she said, well, that explains why your numbers are so much higher.
Who received who sent the addendum?
Amanda spent, they uploaded it on Bid Express.
Okay, if this is really what happened, I'm gonna have a problem with this company because they can get the county in trouble for contact such as that.
Yeah, we'll
So-
get all our facts straight, make sure
Okay.
you guys get everything.
Okay.
Please send that over to us and our legal counsel will review.
Yeah, yep.
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you.
Good morning, commissioners. My name is David Wiley. I'm with the Youngstown Warren Regional Chamber. I just want to take a quick second to speak in support of the Dawn Incorporated project. Although it doesn't necessarily meet the pure employment metrics that you guys might desire for a project like this, it does hit some of the other metrics that were discussed in the Valley Vision Initiative. And those being that, one, although it's only 5 or so jobs, it's producing a payroll of about 373,000, which is pretty significant compared to some other projects that were approved in the past. These are well-paying jobs that kind of help the county close that gap. When you compare what salaries look like here, other parts of the state, other parts of the country. Another part of the Valley Vision Initiative it hits is the DE&I aspect of it. You have a woman founded, owned, and ran business in the community. She's been a steward of the community for quite a while now. So this project, only advances, that particular part of Valley Vision. And of course, you are seeing that a project like this, of course, puts the land to good use, increases surrounding property values and whatnot. And then just to hit on, Dawn Incorporated, how they've been in the past, their previous tax abatement, I know she has exceeded all the metrics that were supposed to be hit for that particular project. So, she's shown that she is, able to reach the point that was agreed upon. And, moving forward, this can only help that business grow. So
Buy the property?
I can't speak to that. I'm not sure.
Does anyone know if she already bought the property? That's what's interesting because she was saying she wasn't gonna. Okay. Some inconsistencies with it's hard sometimes to
Right.
reconcile inconsistencies between what happened and what people say.
Correct. And yeah, I can't speak to the process that was done to apply for this abatement or anything. Could only speak, on behalf of the company and what they've done in the past. So thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Nick Hoggins, Planning Commission. I just wanted to address that question is yes, they did purchase the property in anticipation for this project. In order to apply for property tax abatement, they need to be the owner or include the owner on their agreements. There's also a clause per revised code that cannot be transferred without legislative approval. So that acquisition is included because it's reasonably argued it's part of the project cost. That property was purchased with the intent to move forward with this project.
Didn't some of the language say it was confusing? It made it seem like they were going to be doing things at the portion that she already owned. Like
There's no
some-
confusion on, they will be doing stuff at the portion that they already own. They will be remodeling the existing structure and renovating the facility that they purchased.
Okay. 'Cause
Yes.
There was I thought there were some inconsistencies there in the language and what was presented and what you look at different documents and so. I just think it would be nice to see people advocate for our taxpayers and our tax base instead of businesses creating 4 jobs, Sorry, not sorry.
Sure.
Thank you. Mark Zuppo, Mayor, City of Girard. I'll only take less than your 2-minute time limit here. I just want, on behalf of the city administration, my safety service director, Sal Ponzio, my fire chief, Jim Petruzzi, the great firefighters in the city of Girard, who are all, by the way, paramedics. We want to just thank you for your commitment to us and helping us get our ambulance service back for the citizens of Girard. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
Anybody else have anything for good of Trumbull County? Do we have anybody on the phone? Tim?
Hello?
Go ahead.
Yeah, Darlene Fuda.
You gotta
What's
turn
wrong with
the,
your phone?
you gotta turn the, if you got an electronic device around you, you gotta turn it off. You're listening.
Wait a minute, hold on.
You got about 3 seconds.
Hold on. Okay, here's my question. Every time there's a raise for the county employees, she's against it. But yet, one day a week, she comes to work for $100,000, okay? And that Tuesday bullshit is like a private gossip column with her and her friends. And I also want to know that if Randy Smith wins, he's going to hire her. Are you kidding me? Did he not have a lawsuit against him for sexual harassment on a man? I don't know how he's still in office, but it coincides with her because they're both nuts, okay? But I want to know how he's still in office. And I want everybody to know out there that he had sexual harassment charges of a man. Thank you. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I just want to say something in response. Anyone can bring a charge, but I don't think any of them have been won. So anyone can file a complaint or file a charge or file something internally or a lawsuit, and that doesn't, anyone with a creative imagination can file things. And with an ill intention, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're successful, because none of those have been, nor anything against me, so.
Hello? Hello?
Goodbye.
Next call.
Hello?
Bye-bye.
Hey, please hang up, Darlene. Is there another one, Tim? That's it.
There's nothing else. Make a motion to adjourn?
I will second that motion.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.